Must be pretty exciting to be right around the corner of round one. How's everyone feeling at the club?
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty crazy to think pre-season's done. It was a long 14 weeks, but I think everyone's just really hyped that it's finally here, and we all just want to kind of get out on the track and show everyone what we've been working on, I guess. So, all the girls, coaching group, and the club as a whole are really excited for it, which is a nice feeling.
Has that excitement sort of built over the last few weeks, especially as the season is sort of tangibly close now?
Yeah, it definitely does. I think it kind of creeps up on you quicker than you expect, though. So I feel like the last week and this week particularly, it's sort of hit home a little bit that it's actually here, and that excitement is really starting to build. And hopefully with the public, that excitement's starting to build now as well.
Obviously, having the boys finish their season last weekend, it sort of means all the attention turns to the girls as well. Does that sort of add to it a little bit?
I think it does. Something new for us. Obviously, last year the boys went all the way, which was incredible and so amazing to be around the club at that same time. But I think this year, that now that the boys have finished, there's this week gap and we're starting, I think it does add that extra hype, and I guess the focus is on us now. All work throughout the club can be focused on the W group, and yeah, it's exciting and a really great place to be.
How's that feeling of the match sims and the practice matches sort of out the window, and now sort of focusing on a full game and against a real opponent for points?
Yeah, I think last week in Adelaide sort of hit home a little bit as well, that this is a real practice match. We're not far from hitting those real games, so I think it's really exciting. We've come up against really strong competition in Adelaide, who tested us, and we didn't think we played great, and we were still able to score 50 points against a really strong opponent. So I think now, heading into round one, we're pretty hyped to see what we can bring to the track.
And I mean, the purpose of scratch matches is to kind of put your new tactics in place, and it starts to feel a little bit like a real game, but you come on the other side of that and you enter match week. It's got to feel just a little bit more real when you come around. It's not your first time doing this, but the jitters of week one, what's the feeling going on in preparation for that?
Yeah, I think the jitters is definitely the word. I think today, just sitting in the team meeting, like it's round 1 week, you start to feel just a few nerves here and there, and different moments, whether it's hitting the track today and it was like, oh, this is a little bit different. I guess, there's nothing like playing for the 4 points. The practice matches are great, but it is a more casual and relaxed approach, whereas, this week all of that's out the door, and there is definitely a few more nerves around.
Awesome. Obviously, going into a game against Adelaide, who are quite a strong side, does it sort of add a bit of confidence knowing that you played relatively well against them despite having a loss, or is it a weird feeling knowing that you did cop a loss in a game that doesn't really matter?
No, I think it was the first one of that. I think it was really exciting for us to see. We didn't feel like we played our best footy and we were still able to score 50 points against one of the best teams in the comp. So I think, if anything, it's given us more belief and more excitement heading into this season that we can match it with the top teams. And if we're able to play the way we want to, and we didn't completely do that against Adelaide, who knows what can happen with us. I think we can go a really long way this season.
Obviously having a bit of a jump last year as well in terms of the form, and the group's back again, and most people are sort of hung around and everyone's sort of adding on to that continuity of the group. Does it sort of add a bit more to the expectations of the pressure to go into the season knowing that you're probably wanting to make that next step as well?
I don't think as a playing group we feel the pressure or the expectations, but I definitely think they're there. I think last year we were hunting, and this year we're probably the hunted. That's how we sort of see it as a group, but I think that's a huge opportunity for us, and that's the next stage of our development as a group. Is we're now expected to play a certain way and to have results fall our way, which is something that hasn't happened before, but I think that's a huge opportunity for us to take a step forward and to really show everyone who Geelong are.
Obviously coming off a couple of personally really good seasons the last few years, how do you sort of, I guess, what's that next stage for you personally as a player? Is it sort of taking on more leadership responsibilities? Do you sort of see yourself sort of taking another step in your personal game or anything like that?
Yeah, I think individually I always feel like there's so much more I can add on to my game, whether that's leadership, certain skills and fundamentals in games. So for me, I just want to build on what I've brought last year and the previous years. I think I'm still quite a while off hitting my best. I think there's a lot of growth there. So for me, I just want to keep improving and being better so that I can go out there, play my role for the team, and hopefully contribute to the team's success.
And who's sort of sticking out in your eyes, I guess, on the training track or in pre-season games or anything like that sort of you've got an eye on to have a big year this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's the question that sort of always lurks. I think I feel like there hasn't been like one standout, and I think that's been the exciting thing within our group. I feel like there's that cohesion and connection amongst all lines so far this pre-season, and it hasn't been a matter of one person has stood up. Every individual has had their moment and sort of taken it. So I think the exciting thing is we're not relying on one or two or three or four players anymore. We're reliant on the entire group and every individual to play their role. So I think there'll be lots of really strong individual performances along the way, but I think what makes Geelong and what will create Geelong's success is that every player playing their role and the team first approach. So yeah, I mean, there's always a few names you can always rattle off, but yeah, I think it's the entire group's probably important this year.
I think looking with hindsight, I guess, in terms of the concept of kind of just missing out. So the Bulldogs, they finished 9th last year, so they just missed out on finals. You guys finished 5th, meaning that you guys just missed out on the double chance. In terms of getting off on the right foot in 2023, how important do you think that this round 1 game will be in respect to that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we look back too much on last year now and where we finished on the ladder and just missing out. But I think in terms of season 8, it is extremely important to start off with a win and with momentum. I mean, it's a 10-game season, so it's over before you know it. So if you blow your chance early, it kind of can shape the rest of the 9 matches that are ahead. So personally, I think, yeah, round 1's pretty important and it sets up your entire season, and when it's only 10 weeks, you need to make the most of it.
And just last one from me, in terms of, I guess, what the Bulldogs throw at you guys in terms of a side, what do you expect from them in terms of their strengths, and how do you plan on exploiting their weaknesses, obviously, without getting
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously a strong side. They've been in the competition for quite a while now, and one of their biggest strengths, you know, the contest, bigger bodies, and to sort of try and bully us. So I think for us, yeah, obviously not wanting to give too much away, but we just need to match it with them, bring our competitiveness, bring the pressure on the ball, and then I think we can play our way off the back of that.